Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got what I think is a keyboard even better than the Keychron K2. Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is Betty from Switch and Click, and today we have the Epymaker EP84. This is a 75% USB-C mechanical keyboard that also has 5-pin hot swappable sockets. Let's jump into it. Alright, so pricing for this keyboard right now on the Epymaker website is at $85. And I would say that is a steal, and we're gonna figure out why in just a sec. So what do you get in the box when you buy this keyboard? Of course, you get the keyboard itself. It comes with PBT keycaps that are double shot and shine through. You also get a rubberized black USB-C cable. It's nothing special, but it works. And due to the back of the routing here, I think it's actually better to use the cable that it comes with rather than using your own. I've been using my own, but it doesn't really fit in there quite properly. So it comes with that, and then it also comes with a wire keycap puller, which I really like because they don't scratch up your switches, unlike the little plastic ring ones. Those really are not my favorite at all. And then we have the metal switch puller, of course, because it is hot swappable. But again, I don't really recommend that you use these switch pullers that come right out of the box. They're not very friendly on the hands, they're not easy to use. Whenever I use them, my switches tend to just fling all across the room everywhere. I recommend using the green anti-static like PCB circuit board pliers instead that everyone else uses around here, because it's just so much easier to use. And of course, links for everything will be in the description box like always. And then alongside that, it also comes with a short pamphlet. It's a one sheet that's been folded into 3 that talks about pretty much everything about the keyboard, the secondary layers, the different functions, things like that, because the keycaps themselves don't really have sub-legends on them at all. All right, that's all that's in the box. Let's move on to the build quality. So we always like to start at the back here at Switch and Click, of course. And at the back, you can see that it does have a USB-C port right here. However, there's this little cutout here. So it's not really easy to put any cords in here because it can't just stick out through the back. It has to fit in these little tiny channels that go to the left or the right or to the middle. I found it a little bit annoying, but the cables that I do use, the TES cables and the Kraken Keyboards cables, they fit in here just fine, although they do raise up the ends just a little bit. It has 2 adjustable kickstands right here. There's only one angle though, but the keyboard itself already has a pretty good angle for typing and for gaming. But if you want something steeper, you can always flip that out. And if you flip that out, then you can use whatever cable you want to without really having to worry about it raising the keyboard and making it uneven and shaky. Alongside that, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 rubber feet on the back. Don't have to worry about any sliding at all. I've experienced 0 problems with that. And then if you look at the front, it almost looks like it could be a custom mechanical keyboard. Looks pretty good compared to my KB75 back there. But the difference with this one is that the build is pretty much entirely made out of plastic. It's very lightweight. It does have a metal plate to make sure that it's sturdy, it doesn't flex, it's not gonna break if you drop it. It mounts the switches quite well. You don't have to worry about anything falling out, things like that. If you try to flex it, there's very little flex. Again, it's really lightweight compared to a custom one like that where the case is all aluminum, but from appearance, it looks like it could be custom. And then the sides, of course, you have these little channels where the wire comes out, but you can see that it already has quite the angle to it already. And with the keycaps being OEM profile, there's a good curve here that's pretty comfortable to use. But other than that, the outside isn't really anything special. It looks really nice. I think the best benefits are actually when you go inside of the board itself. Another thing I'd like to say is that there's really no branding anywhere that you can see unless you look at the bottom. Of course, it has the branding sticker, but there's no forehead here. There's like no branding on the front here or the back or anything. It looks really clean. It looks really sleek. I just really like it, and it's such a good price too. All right, let's jump into the keycaps. The keycaps themselves are two-toned. They are dark gray and light gray PBT plastic with double shot legends, which do feature shine through for the RGB, of course. And I just really like this because they're oil resistant for one, and then the legends are also double shot, so you're not going to have to worry about replacing these keycaps anytime soon, unlike other keyboards where the stock is ABS and the first thing you want to do is you want to change your keycaps. Well, you don't really need to worry about that here, but it is a 75% layout, so you do have to look for keycaps specific to this layout because the right shift is 1.75U, and then of course the right column with the navigational keys and the arrows, you all want them to be a varying profile where they'll actually match the different rows rather than stick out. Like if you take keycaps for a 10 keyless keyboard and slap it on there, sure, it will probably fit, but you'll end up having some kind of weird jagged look here on the side, and that's not exactly the prettiest thing. For 75% keycap sets, I like to look at KBD fans. They're quite affordable and they ship pretty quick as well. You don't have to wait for them to be in group buy and then ship and deliver and all that. They're pretty much in stock. You order them, you wait maybe a week, and then you get them. Those keycaps back there I got from KBD fans. Those are the Enjoy PBT ABS, they have a name, I don't remember the name. And then a varying version of that they have is white on black, which looks very clean, and we put those on our previous 60% build. All right, as for the keycaps themselves, the walls are about 1.1 to 1.2 millimeters thick. That's a little less thick than some other keycaps that we've seen that are on the like 1.5 millimeters, but these are pretty nice. They're pretty smooth on the tops, which is sort of strange for PBT keycaps. I'm very used to more texture. I actually prefer more texture instead of smooth. Smooth just makes me think, ugh, grimy, you know? But the legends themselves, they're quite clean. There are some separations in some letters, and I know you people keep saying that it's called stenographic legends, so I'm gonna use that from now on, although it sounds a little bit too complicated for me. So the legends are stenographic. What that means is the letters such as O, B, D, Q, numbers like 8 and 9, 0, they are disconnected. So rather than being a full circle, they have a left side and a right side, and that's what these legends look like. Everything else is pretty clean looking. All right, let's jump into the switches. Stock, you get a choice of a bunch of different Gateron mechanical switches. There's black, brown, blue, and red. We have the black Gateron mechanical switches here. They're black switches, they're stock switches. That's not the special part. The special part is actually underneath when you pull the switches out. These are 5-pin hot swappable sockets, and you don't really see that around very often. They are north-facing switches, so the LED is on top, and what that means is a lot of people look for this, but it just means that GMK keycaps, which are cherry profile and really thick, they'll interfere with the switches when they're mounted on them. Just a little bit of scratchiness between the switch and the keycap themselves. So that's what that means. And this keyboard does have north-facing switches or north-facing hot swappable sockets. So if you're looking for something that's south-facing, yeah, get a custom. This is not for you. But it does have LEDs, so it's pretty cool. It has RGB, and you just pull the switches out. You can see the 5 different pins. And what that means is that when you buy switches, sometimes they come with the 2 little plastic legs on the side. For a hot swappable keyboard like this one, you won't have to clip them off to put them in. But for hot swappable keyboards like the KeyMove Shadow, Drop Control, Drop Alt, things like that, you're going to have to clip those 2 plastic legs, and that makes them plate mounted forever, and you can't really mount them on a PCB without a plate anymore. So that can get a little bit complicated. We have articles on our website explaining all of those things, and I'll link them down below if you're interested in reading them. I know it can get complicated. But yeah, 5-pin hot swap sockets, although when replacing the switches a couple times, I did notice that when I pulled out the keycaps, the switches also came out with it. So I suppose it's a little bit loose, typical after a few hot swaps, but really it doesn't happen right from the stock form. So I guess they're a little bit loose. I don't really personally have a problem with that, but the more swaps you do over time, it'll get looser and looser and looser. Now the stabilizers, they are Cherry style plate mounted stabilizers. They do come pre-lubed from the factory, but they're not really the best lube. I would say they have some rattle and it's not really too loud. I would just recommend, since they are hot swap, just taking all the stabilizers out and just redoing the whole lube thing, like clip them, do the lube thing again. That would just make it sound a lot better. But they're really not that bad, not compared to other keyboards that we've tested in the past. So if you don't have the materials or the supplies or the time to mod all that again, then you know it's fine from the get-go. All right, so RGB, it does come with preset effects. You can change between those effects with FN and pause. You can change the colors with FN and home. Definitely read the included guide since it gives you all of the key combinations on how to do that. I'm going to go over some of the preset effects right as we're talking right now. And of course, the secondary functions, you need to see them on the guide because, again, these keycaps don't really have any sub-legends. If you don't memorize those secondary functions, you're not really going to be able to use things like the secondary media keys or different keys that it doesn't come with on the side. Now, speaking of 75% and the sub-legends, this keyboard does have a very nice right column. It has delete on top, home, page up, page down, and end. And it also has dedicated print screen and pause buttons. It does not have the scroll lock, so if you're looking for that, you're gonna have to reprogram one of these side keys to match your needs. All right, what's my verdict on this keyboard? When I first saw it, I thought it was really like nothing special. It's a 75%, it's all plastic, it's whatever. But after seeing that it has 5-pin hot swappable sockets, and really after using it for a little bit, I think it's a very, very, very good keyboard, especially for $85. I would say that this is a really good competitor to the Keychron K2, unless you need Mac compatibility with the function row and you need the Bluetooth. If you're not looking for those two specific things and you want a good hot swap 75%, this is it right here. It's budget friendly, it's really affordable. You can get it on Amazon, it's really convenient, but you can also get it on the Apple Maker website. And it's PBT keycaps from the start. You don't even need to go and replace them. But if you wanted to, you could. I probably would after a little bit, but it looks really good stock already. And it does come with a white version. This is the black version. The white version has a combination of white and light gray keycaps. That looks really cool as well. So go and check that out. All right, it's time for the typing test. Take it away. right, that was a typing test with the Applemaker EP84 with Gateron Black mechanical switches and pretty much stock stabilizers and everything. No mods were done to this keyboard. It sounds pretty decent, and it's pretty much the only pre-built hot swappable 75% mechanical keyboard on the market right now with 5-pin hot swap sockets. So if you want that for a really affordable price, it's right here. If you need the Mac and Bluetooth and all that, then it's definitely worth waiting for Keychron to come out with their hot swap version of their K2. It's definitely a showdown. I'm interested in seeing that hot swap K2 when it comes out. Definitely comment down below if you have any questions or if you think this one looks really cool. I think Applemaker's really stepping up their game. Definitely, they have a ton of variety in terms of their layouts, in terms of optical and mechanical and all of that, a bunch of hot swap features. But yeah, I'm actually really impressed with them right now. And if you're not already aware, they're doing a Kickstarter right now of the Ajaz K620T, 60% with a volume knob or a dedicated knob, and a dedicated place to put your tablet or phone if you're doing that. Go check that out. Links are down below as well. Hoping to review that soon. And if you're interested in this hoodie that I'm wearing, it's got tropical fruits, two-toned, white in the middle, very comfortable, no tags at all, super comfortable. Check out KeyNerd. This is a PBT Islander keycap set inspired hoodie that I suggested since it's one of my favorite keycaps of all time. So yep, go check that out. Check out this video for some more hot swappable mechanical keyboards that you might be interested in. And then check out the Keychron K2 review right here and subscribe here if you want to. I'll see you in the next one.